This is a movie with a lot of action, visual effect, but of course it's a movie about mutants.
Yeah.
But, also about man, vulnerability, humanity. So how much humanity does it take to be Inhumans?
I mean, I feel like this movie, for me, was really more about the humanity of the characters and more about the emotion of the story and of the characters than it was about the spectacle. I mean, obviously, like you say, there is spectacle to this film. There's big visual effects. They go into space for the first time in the history of the X-Men. There's extraterrestrial characters for the first time in an X-Men movie. And a lot of the visual effects that you're talking about are actually practical effects, meaning they're in camera. They're things that we actually shot, like when they're fighting over a helicopter in the air. That's a real helicopter.
Like the opening scene is visually beautiful.
As not a visual effect in that opening scene.
Wow.
The car flying through the air is a car that we shot in an air cannon on a road outside of Montreal. Inside the car, they're on a rig in a sound stage that's being spun around with the actors really in it. Inside, yeah. So we're doing
Seriously?
inside, yeah. Yeah. So we, as much as possible, because I wanted the film to feel real and raw and immediate and immersive for the audience, I wanted the action to also be real. So I tried to do things sometimes a little bit at the peril or jeopardy of my actors, within reason. I wanted things to be real. So scenes like the car crash, you know, are actually a car flying through the air, and then actors and a rig being spun through the air. The chopper sequence is a chopper that's strung between two crane arms on a cable that can hold a 4,000-pound chopper. Those stuntmen are jumping into a chopper that's swinging back and forth in real life close to Michael Fassbender and Sophie Turner. The sequence where Michael Fassbender comes charging through the wall with a subway car behind him. That's a real subway car that's crashing through the wall with explosives in the wall. I just wanted it all to feel real. It's insane. There's no question it's insane.
So
There's
not visual effect, actually.
the very few. I mean, like space, I couldn't really shoot up in space.
Thank you.
But I didn't want to send the actors into actual space. But short of that, I tried as much as possible. And maybe I am a little bit insane as a director, but I wanted to do everything possible to make the movie feel real. And I think we live in a time, where visual effects are so good, obviously, that audiences are used to seeing big visual effects movies where, you're creating imaginary universes and galaxies far away. And I wanted to go in a different direction. I wanted them to feel like, for the first time in a long time, the action would be real and visceral in the way that I wanted the movie to feel very visceral.
And why did you choose Jessica Chastain as a villain?
We're living in this wonderful time where women can be protagonists and they can be antagonists. They can be the leads of movies, big movies. And, as someone who grew up in the X-Men comics, there always were strong female characters. In fact, some of the strongest female characters, Jean, Storm, Mystique, Rogue, Kitty Pryde, these are characters in the comics who were as strong as the male characters. And the X-Men movies that came before us were really focused on the male characters. It was Xavier, it was Magneto, and it was Wolverine. And I love those characters, and I love those actors, but I wanted to do something different, and the Dark Phoenix story inherently has a female protagonist. So I wanted to really showcase the strong female characters that have been a little bit background in the previous movies. In terms of Jessica, I mean, there's probably no stronger woman in the world than Jess. I'd worked with Jessica on The Martian. I produced that film. We'd become friends after the movie. When I was thinking about writing this villain who could be both alien and human at the same time and be nuanced and have a power that was a quiet, confident, subtle power, the only person I could think about was Jessica. So I really wrote it for her, hoping she would do it, and then I sent it to her saying, look, I wrote it for you. If you say no, I don't know what to do. And luckily, she emailed me back 2 days later saying I'm in, and had a ton of ideas for the part. And we're doing another movie together this summer, and we've really become partners. And she was a partner in constructing this character because it was a character we really created from the ground up together.